So far, in order to make the quality of the sound a little bit better, I apply the low cut. It's already selected at 100 Hertz. Then we can go to compressor. Actually, to access compressor, I can go several ways. I can go via pages, or coming back from the main page, just clicking the button on the channel strip. I activated compressor right away, view, and I'm already seeing compressor, and I see the gain reduction, so everything is changed as of right now. Every single compressor on each channel can be sidechained with series of channels through the menu, which is second page, and we can change the sidechaining and send the signal for sidechaining from anywhere, starting from any input channels, analog. We can also go through AUXes, through FX, through bus sends, and this is it. So, which is really versatile feature. On the top of this, the side chaining channel has the filter, which allows me to select the frequency which will be reacting. So here we have the frequency selection, we have the slope of EQ. So pretty much it's really serious thing over here. We can get also as well, we can go to gate. I'm not gonna play with it right now. Configuration of each channel allows me to change the source, which can go really far. So for example, I select channel 3. Again, I can route any of this, starting with any of the channels or any buses or any effects, to assign that to any channel that I desire. On the top of this, what else? We can change the position of the insert, which analog insert could be selected for pre-EQ and post-EQ on each channel separately. As well, another thing, each channel has the controls of phantom power, which could be turned on and off, as well as a phase reverse, or sort of saying, proper saying will be polarity reverse. So this is so far as in input channels. So we have 16 faders for input channels, which we can divide it into groups of 16, of a total of 32. This and this, we changes it momentarily. As well, we have auxiliary inputs, which pretty much shows auxiliary inputs, which place the quarter-inch connections, quarter-inch jack connections on the back panel. As well, the feed from another unit which built in this board is a USB player recorder. So which assigned to these two channels over here, channel 7 and 8. Then we go in and grouped effects, which in total for now assign 4 effect processors over here. Then we can send buses. The good thing that each channel has 16, each input channel has 16 bus sends. So pretty much if I'm selecting first for let's say for monitors, easy access to on each channel goes here. I can control them. I can select another group, and by default on the board assigned 13 through 16 is assigned to the channel's effect sends. We will return to effects for more in-depth review a little later. Then we're going further with the board. So the master section. Master section is absolutely great so far. So we have these DCA groups. DCA groups is a typical subgroup function like we have on average analog board, which has 8 DCA subgroups. We have buses. Basically, buses are kind of like doubled in this case, so we can control buses from here, or we can control buses from here, bus 1 through 8, or 9 through 16. Then we have additional button which called matrix, which has additional 6 outputs, which could be assigned to any of the outputs on the outside, and can be controlled. For example, if I'm setting up, let's say, delay speakers, or I can control separately outputs for different rooms in a, for example, if I'm doing that in a church or a bigger event where I have more serious distribution. Another good part of this that many sound engineers using, for example, for subwoofers, they can send subwoofer signal use. Sometimes they're sending one via one of the buses or via one of the DCA groups, let's say. But in this case, we have one assigned sender channels, or which is mono channel, and each send could be assigned directly from the input, just clicking on one button. So it activates one mono output. The good part is, basically, in this case, I can get rid of any additional EQ, because by selecting any one of these outputs, I can control dynamics. I can control EQ, which EQ is absolutely amazing on the output selection. It's pretty much, it has 6 bands of fully parametric EQ. On the contrary, the inputs each one has 3 bands of parametric EQ. We have each of these grouped output, we can select separate compression, we can separate EQ, and we can assign one of the, or whatever, with up to 6 inserts for external processing, which could be activated here pretty easy. Okay, so the only thing that I might think that would have been better if any DCA actually output would have its own delay settings. Like, for example, input channels, each input channel has delay built in. So pretty much, the good thing is that delay setup here makes the numbers set up in feet, in meters, and in milliseconds, which basically any good sound engineer knows how to calculate this. But here, anyway, you have all these parameters, which could be changed fairly quickly. I can show that on this menu. So it's in configuration. We can adjust delays, and delay goes way too far. But for example, if DCA doesn't really satisfy you in this case, you can patch the signal through. You're going to have to sacrifice one of the channels, one of the processing channels, or otherwise, what is possible to do, any matrix output can be patched with one of the processors. Since we have 8 independent effect processors built inside of the board, we can assign delays out there really easily. And the good thing is that 8 considered stereo effect processors. So you don't count like 2 stereo effects processors as 4 separate processors. No, it's basically stereo processor is as one instance. So going a little further, we can go to the routing.